Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
First thing to do is call the meeting to order at 5:20 p.m. The first order of business is to elect chair.
I move that we elect. Yep, Benny Hardy, I second that.
Before you vote, I do have one thing to say. I'm gonna recuse myself on all of these because I have ex parte communications with my neighbor and like, it's a breeze. I would run the meeting if that's what you want.
Okay with me that you run it. Anybody have any?
Yeah, because all you gotta do is recuse yourself on the vote.
That's right.
If they want to be heard, you have to use.
Yep. Are we back on?
Yeah.
So we can use the microphones now.
You want the mics on?
Okay, any more nominations? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. All right, Debbie, it's yours.
Okay. Is there any additional agendas for administrative matters, discussing matters? All right. Anything else to be brought up here? Okay, and like I said, I'm gonna recuse myself because I have ex parte communications with Paul. Anybody else? No? Okay. So on the, first thing on the agenda is Paul Reese, 32 Reese Circle. Parcel number 22-340028. Paul has written. Reason for abatement, taxes of persons from died, taxes of persons unable to pay their tax. Other than reading, has everybody read it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we usually do is we give the appellant time to state his case, give us some particulars on it. That's the ball. Yep. You got the floor.
Do I get 3 minutes or whatever?
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Okay, I'm Paul Reese, like I said, and I was thrown in a unique situation a couple years ago. I said I've been taking care of my mom and property for almost 47 years since my dad died at 12. But my mom passed away in 2018, and I inherited another property, which was another bill. I only get $17,184 a year disability. I do not get the homestead property rebate where I get $154 because one property is the second property, and I have 2 kids that still use my address. So I get the full tax bill on all properties, water and sewer, of about $12,600 a year. And when I get $17,184, you don't need to be a rocket scientist. My parents' ancestors came from Poland. My father's side came from the Azores. They settled in Vermont for over 100 years. We built Jackie Reese Development with 30 houses or more up there. And my dad said before he died, someday you're not going to be able to afford to live here. And I'm not asking if you really don't want to forgive penalties and interest for 2018. I really don't care because what's happening is I'm selling mom's estate to one of my kids dirt cheap, and May 21st, I will do the settlement and pay the town what I owe the town on my house, her house, which I think it's probably about $10,000 I owe you guys. I'm gonna square up and be done with it. I got rid of my middle lot to my son. My daughter will be taking over the other house. My house that I've lived at since 1988, I believe I'll be selling that house too. And the reason I say that is the taxes in this town, in 7 years for village taxes and town, water and sewer, I have paid this place $41,889.97. I'm I'm sorry, when I worked 82 hours construction, when I built my house in '88, I made $550 a week for 82 hours. I commend the town of Rockingham, I commend the village for watching your budget. 70% of the problem is the school tax bill. It's unbelievable. I just cannot believe that if I make $17,184 for disability, that it costs $20,000 per pupil to send people to school. And I would just recommend this town board put pressure on the state of Vermont or the school system to close one school. The high school was built for 720 students. You've got 300 and something kids in that school, and you could save yourself probably $5 million closing the school. So the only thing I'm saying is, I really don't care if it's $200 or $100 on penalty and interest. I will square up with you whatever decision. But I was very upset on the Mary Zutnik estate, because what Pat Akuta told me is, Paul, one car I reported stolen. I asked,
I gotta stop you there. This is not the place to bring it up. The next meeting will be.
okay, but that was $1,500 of lost revenue you guys could have put towards her tax bill. My mom saved pennies for 102 years. You know what those pennies are worth? 3 cents a piece. It is not worth investing $1 in this village or town unless it's Section 8 housing pays $125 a day. I'm losing $600 a month by owning a property in Bellows Falls. My house payment's only $708.26 a month. But if you look at the tax bill and water and sewer, it's just as much as my house payment. It is not worth owning a property, and I do believe that all the real estate's gonna collapse, because 60% of people are getting financial aid and help from the state of Vermont. If the state of Vermont pulls that, it's gonna collapse. Another neighbor is selling their house on my hill. Another guy just bought a house, and he couldn't believe his tax bill was $8,000. And so I'm done, but you guys decide what you want, but I do appreciate you taking the time to listen, and I'll pay it either way, May 21st.
So,
Yes.
you gotta come up with a figure of what you'd like to be dated.
Well,
You said
it's
you're gonna
only,
you said you're gonna make payments?
oh yeah, I've been making payments of $880 a month on both houses for last year, plus doing this year's, but I am gonna get totally even May 21st when I sell the other property. But what I was just looking for, like a mercy thing, basically on 2018 of interest and penalties only. I don't know what it really amounts to. Maybe Sharon can figure it out. Maybe it's $200, I don't know.
Okay.
But either way, it's more of a, you know, if Marie got the deal, I kind of wanted the same little deal.
Yeah, well, that was.
Yeah, that's a separate issue.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. All right, so any questions for me before I head out, or?
Hold on. Yeah, now the board gets to
Okay.
ask you questions. So, hold on, go ahead.
Paul, the only thing I noticed in here was some of the financial stuff you gave, is on your mother's house.
Yeah, that's the only house I'm actually asking for. That was 40 Recircle.
Yeah,
And it's
right,
assessed at $137,400.
okay.
But I will, I'll pay you.
No, I just wondered, because then you also have your tax bill here too, so.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, so I just wondered what the intent was there for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I question whether we can abate taxes, consider abate taxes on 40 Recircle when the agenda is for 30 years.
Well, it should have been 40, correct?
Right, it should be 40.
But 32 is what we have here, can we address, according to state statute, can we address a different property?
This is in here.
I don't care, I'm talking about what's on the agenda, what the public has to see as in one VSA. Can we address 40 Recircle when only 32 is listed on the agenda? That's what the public thinks we're addressing.
Well, not being a lawyer, and I'm not seeing anybody from the public is interested in 32. I would have to say that we can if we want to.
This is confusing because here we have a tax bill for 40 and then the certificate of death for the 40, but then this is on the 32.
You got both of them.
Or evidently there's the wrong property card there then,
There's a- there's a-
whatever.
Which I don't
Yeah.
think we can really address.
Paul did put that in.
No, that's our area.
Right.
The address was 32, so
It's still the agenda.
they were only going by the.
What the public thinks we're addressing. Wow, we put one every time.
No, but the paperwork
I'm
should say.
gonna, I'll make a ruling on that, and you can, differ from it. So we're here listening to Paul on 40, and there doesn't seem any people from the public here that's questioning 32, so I think we can, unless this board
The
wants to.
parcel ID number is right.
overrule it.
For 40,
Yeah, before.
And I'm okay with whatever, I don't really.
So let's continue talking about 40 Reeds, if that's all right with everybody.
So what is the actual amount for 40 then?
So Paul is asking for penalty interest on mother's house for 2018, and I don't know what that is.
we don't have that.
Yeah, we do.
Where is it?
Somebody can give me that figure when you talk about that.
It's,
It appears that the Rockingham motion would be to abate $151.70, being all interest and penalties accrued on taxes due as of March 30th, 2021. That's the interest and penalty on the 2018 billing. The village would make a motion to abate $13.02, being all interest and accrued on taxes due as of March 30th, 2021.
where's that in?
Where is that? Oh, we can't find that
Where's
piece of
that in
paper.
here?
It is not there.
No,
It is something the listers put together today for information for this meeting.
What was the count
Didn't have
working at
that.
151, what, Paul?
$151.70, $151.70.
So what's,
That's what Paul is asking for, so.
but why does this have $4,049? I mean,
Look
that's,
at the date.
Well, things changed during the meeting. Paul now is asking for these figures that we have right here. Right, Paul?
Yes.
That's the tax bill for 2019-20. That's not asking for that. He's asking for.
That's for 218 interest and penalties on 40 Reeds.
that's 151,
The amount is 151.70 for the town.
1302 for the village?
Yeah.
I mean, if you really, really want the money, I will just give it to you May 21st. It's just, I just felt that if what's good for one person should be good for another.
Let's see the board decide.
Point of order, and reading the abatement, information of the Secretary of State VLCT, says the actual decision can be done in writing. Are you correct on that assumption?
Again,
According to what I read.
Again, I'm not worried. The actual,
I mean,
say that again? I think the actual decision is right.
the actual decision that we make is in writing, doesn't have to be an open session. Technically, say you go into deliberative session,
We could, yeah. we could.
and then debate it, and decide what you want to do.
That's true.
And then it's written in,
Yeah.
excuse the
I know
appellant.
that.
Yeah, so point of information for anybody that hasn't been here for a while is no. We can deliberate
How
it.
much AP I can put up with?
In executive session.
I got the amount.
You guys not down there or what?
There was a question about what could be voted on village and town portion based upon someone's position.
Well, maybe you should direct it to the guy.
My vote.
So the question is, can we go into a deliberative session and rule on this in private? And I believe the answer is yes. What we've normally done is not to do that. We deliberate it here, and then we make a decision in open session. If somebody wants to go in, you can. That is up to the board. That was the question we had. Everybody fine with, deliberating in open session? Okay, so what was your question, Deb?
James had a question about whether he can vote on town stuff, and
No.
on town portion he cannot.
No, just vote.
That's village, right, yeah. So the JPs can vote on everything. The,
They can vote on village if they live in the village.
Vote on town issue,
Town issue,
because you're
yeah.
town JP.
the town,
The town JPs can vote on the town
Town.
one, and the village
Town one.
JPs can vote on both.
right, the people living in the village, JPs vote on the village
That's not what you said.
No,
and the town.
We're not village rate JPs, we're Rockingham JPs.
yeah,
The town JPs can vote on the town.
Town
Yeah.
JPs vote on town.
The people living in the village, it's the town JP can vote on the town.
Not as a
That is
JP.
correct.
Yeah, it's
we
town
can
and
vote,
village.
village residents can vote on both.
That is correct. Pat,
Correct.
if you're-
Yeah,
If
if
you're
you're-
JP, that's right.
Yeah.
That's what I read.
Why do we always have to go over?
Okay. You got all those straightened out? So, what do you wanna do with, Mr. Reese's?
Well,
Deal.
Mr. Chairman, I haven't heard his argument. I'm actually surprised he's not asking for more. And I hadn't seen that, and I mean, it almost appears from what I've heard and what I've read here that it fits the criteria. But I at the moment don't have an issue with the town portion or the village portion that he's asking for. Abatement.
I really haven't heard a motion for Mr.
Mr. Chairman, speaking for the town, I would move that the town would abate $151.70 for the town portion of the taxes, of the interest, I believe what it is.
I'll second that.
And I move that the village, what?
We'll do-
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded that we abate $151.70 of the town portion. Any discussion on that?
You have them raise their hands so I can get count.
They haven't voted yet.
Okay, so we're gonna take a vote. All right, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And I'm abstaining.
Is this town or is this town? This is
This is
town.
Town. You're up, Bonnie. Or not.
And you got 2 votes on Zoom.
got them. Okay.
Those
They
opposed,
went good?
those opposed,
Opposed?
motion passes. I hear something from, a motion from the village. Where they
Pat started.
yeah.
I move that we abate $13.02 from 43 Circle, for the Village of Bellows Falls taxes.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we abate $13.02 for the village portion. Any discussion on that motion? Again, please raise your hand. You're in favor of a village paying $13.02. And again, I'll abstain.
Okay.
Opposed.
Yeah, that's opposed.
All right,
Jim, do you vote?
Opposed, okay, I got opposed.
opposed, please raise your hand. Well, I said I. Not saying. All right, the motion passes. Looks like Paul, you've been,
All right, well, thank you very much, and actually, I'll donate that amount back to the town workers for a pizza party or something. It was just, I wanted to make a point that if one person, it should be done for another person, and then also to take a good look at the school issue. Okay, thank you.
is there any more you brought up?
My only complaint, you have to do a process. This goes on all the time, we don't have the right paperwork, we don't have the right address. the Board of Abatement should have all pertinent material in a heavy schedule in order to make a proper decision, just on process. That's my complaint, is seeing paperwork on what the amount should have been, we've seen that before, the correct address should have been on here. We have issues like this every time we meet, and I just want to say that that should not be the way it happens. We only meet it once or twice a year, all the paperwork should be done properly. That's it. That's
I didn't ask anybody on the Zoom meeting, do they wanna chime in?
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay, then hearing nothing, we're gonna adjourn the meeting.
Move to adjourn. Second.
Wait, there's something.
Just a small point, make. When we do a tax bill, in this particular case, there are 3 parcels on one tax bill.
They can't hear you at home. Could you get a microphone, please?
Yes, it'll be a.
Sorry about that.
Move up there.
Okay. In the case of Mr. Reese, this
Thank you.
is a relatively complex situation, but when you think you don't have the right tax number, you do. What happens is when properties are adjacent to each other and they're owned by one person, one tax bill based on the homestead building lot, which would be Mr. Reese's house. In this case, you have 2 other properties attached to it. Tax bill goes to one guy. So when you're looking at the number, the only one that's right is the top one on this particular page, which ends at 28. So don't get confused, and the reason for that is once the grand list is lodged, it then stays with, that number stays with all those properties for the entire next year, and we can't change it. Once we turn the grand list over to the select board, we can't touch it. So it stays there for a year. Even if you bought that house on April 3rd, the original owner would get the tax bill, or his attorneys would have made an arrangement at closing as to how that would be handled. So it's a little confusing, but it happens every time we sell a house after April 1st. So don't get back-stricken, because we can sort that out for you, and we did. I think it here, you'll find it here. That's the only thing, it's not a miss anything, it's just the way the state does it. Once we lock the grand list, it's locked for a year.
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.